All right, Guy, you are good to go, friend.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Kansas City Oasis. My name is Guy Niederhauser. I'm going to be your MC and host for this morning. For those of you who don't know, you are now participating in a Zoom version of a meeting of Kansas City Oasis, a community of compassion and reason celebrating the human experience. We're glad you all could join us this morning, recognizing a lot of familiar faces. We're sort of getting down to our core group of people, seeing a lot of familiar faces, similar faces here every week. I think we're starting to enjoy seeing the same people every week. We're starting to see some people from out of town. I think Zoom has allowed that to for us to reach people from all around. So it's had its ups and its downs, and I think seeing each other every week has been really great. So Zoom has the technology there has been really helpful in a lot of ways. So welcome to Oasis via Zoom. We are also on Facebook Live, so you can go back and watch this afterwards. If you see something here today that you really liked and you want to share it with somebody else, you can share this Zoom link with other people if you want to share Oasis with a friend or a family member that you think might be interested in what we're doing here. For those of you who don't know, Oasis as an organization aligns around 5 core values. Those are people are more important than beliefs, reality is known through reason, human hands solve human problems, meaning comes from making a difference, and be accepting and be accepted. So today we've got a program we have a program. And that program is our main speaker, Jude Lane, who's been with Oasis since 2017. He's been involved on our AV team, on a number of different committees. And today he's going to be talking about phonology, accents, and dialects. He's traveled around the globe and heard people speaking the English language in particular with lots of different accents and using. I heard him just giving a little preview as we were getting ready here this morning, using their mouths and their tongues to speak English in lots of different ways with lots of different tones. So I'm very interested to hear how we use our mouth to make the English language work and come out of our face in all kinds of ways. So that'll be very interesting. Our community moment this morning is from Autumn Weiniger, one of our board members here at Oasis. I've been here, I believe, since the very beginning. So we always love hearing from Autumn. And then our musical guest this morning is Miki P, who has just come out with a new album. Even though we're all stuck at home, she's been working diligently to keep putting out new content and new music. So hopefully we'll get to hear some of that new music this morning. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Miki, are you ready to play some music for us this morning?
I think I am.
Yeah.
I
If
haven't
not,
had
I
any
can keep jabbering.
coffee, but I think I'm good without it.
All right.
Um, so yeah, every I just had an album come out, and every song you're gonna hear today is off that album. So it's real cool. And the first two I'm gonna play for y'all this morning. Uh, they're called "I" and "Music," and they kind of flow together in a really beautiful way. And they're on the B side of the album. All alone again. What does that even mean? Am I just thinking of words to make me feel some part of my existence that wasn't there before? Or am I just crying on the floor because I need to? Doubting my own validation as if I was born to. So much of my life I've spent forgetting, just so I could wake up this morning. hardships have garnered, successes and losses and lessons I've learned. Harder times my heart opened when I finally understood what it took to be me and how resilient I am. I won't bring myself down, I will give myself a hand, and I'll rise from my roots and stand firm where I was planted and let all of my fears go. Let my fears go. I stand still, I wait for my fill of light to reach my eyes open wide, wake me up. Lost when I lose a day of sleep. My night is filled with sweet, sweet music. Beautiful music made by me. Time does not wait, sleep deprivation setting in. It's getting late, but if I go to sleep now, my ideas might run out. I'm always late to get them out. Am I ever really lost, or am I exactly where I should be? Writing down words that mean something to me. If my soul could speak, this is what it's saying. Yes, I'm staying up late tonight. I'm spending time with sweet, sweet music. y'all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Miki, so just curious, we have musicians here every Sunday, and this is obviously this is a unique situation for everybody, all different parts of our economy and our culture. What's it been like as a musician? You just came out with an album. What's it been like to be going through this? You're not being able to get out and gig like you normally do. How have you been getting through this? How have you been working your art and doing your craft through these last 9 months or so, 6 months, however long it's been? Time is irrelevant. So
It is a construct. Time is a construct. I don't. I. It's been horrible. It's been awful, and like I haven't really been inspired to do anything because there's like no people that I get to share it with, really.
Yeah.
But it's definitely humbled me. I think I've learned a lot about how I seek validation. I've learned a lot about myself, really. Not so much like just creating things, but I mean, the album that I released, I've been working on for 2 years. I hope my volume's a little louder. Someone said my volume's really low.
Oh, there we go.
I've been working on this album for 2 years, so this is I needed to get it out, and now's as good as time as any, I guess, and it's given me something to look forward to, which is really great, but it's been really hard to be inspired. I've been camping a lot. I don't know, just trying to like live my life and remember who I am outside of what I do, I think has been really important.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, we're glad you're here this morning. Thanks for being here. I know it's kind of last minute as well, so appreciate you stepping up to the plate and being here for us. We're really glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so what do we have going on at Oasis specifically? The rest of our program today, we have a birthday this week. I heard that Dave Brown had a birthday. He's not here this morning, but happy birthday to Dave Brown. If you know him personally, shoot him a message, blow him up on his Facebook or other social media stuff, make him feel special. Dave Brown was an instrumental part of getting Oasis off the ground since the very beginning, served on the board for a very long time. Show him some love. Let's see. We still have the after dinner Zoom chats Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. If you're looking to connect with your Oasis friends, and a lot of people aren't able to get out, there's really nowhere to go. If you're feeling like you shouldn't be getting out, or you don't know where to go out without running into more virus, just stay at home and log in to this exact same space at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and you'll meet some people, some familiar faces, and we can just chat. We do the exact same thing every morning at 7:30. 7:30 right here. We'll have some coffee like I'm having right here at almost 11:30. Again, time is irrelevant, so just follow that clock. And we'll be here 7:30 in the morning and 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. We are getting back into Oasis, our community committees, the committees that we used to have that sort of ran things around this place when we used to meet in person. Those are still a thing. They're not being as utilized as often since we're not getting together. But we're trying to keep those organized. The board is still keeping track of who has signed up to do what and when. And as we're moving into the fall and keeping track of where everybody needs to be, we are still trying to be on top of where we are as an organization so that when that time comes for us to get back in person, whenever that is, we can be prepared. So we are going to get back on top of what our committees are and who signed up for them. We're going to get back on that as a board here in the next couple weeks. So be checking your emails. If you've signed up to be a part of a committee, keep an eye out on your emails from your committees. And if you have not signed up to be a part of one of the committees, you would like to. Oh, somebody's unmuted. Hey, there's Carol. Hi there. if you would like to be a part of a committee and you're not, shoot a board member a message and we'll get you signed up. All right, Mark Dixon is also currently looking for community moment speakers. We are running a little low there, so if you have a community moment that you would like to share, if you've had one in the back of your mind for a while, now's as good a time as any. You'd have plenty of time to work on it and get it together, so no rush. But we like to have that scheduled out a little in advance. So get a hold of Mark or another board member and we'll get you to the right people. What I was about to say was we're also getting together community groups for the fall. So although we're not sure whether we're going to be meeting online or in person, our community groups have really been, since we implemented them a few years ago, have really become part of the lifeblood of what we do here at Oasis. They really are part of how we connect with one another and stay connected. And it's times like this pandemic that have made it really hard for us to stay connected. And so we're going to be meeting online. Sorry, just got confirmation that we are going to do them online. And so over the next 10 weeks, through the 10-week semester between September 13th and November 15th, through those weeks, we're going to be getting together online and just staying connected with the people that matter to us here in our community. And we'll have a curriculum coming together. So if you're interested in being a community group host, get a hold of Mark Dixon, and we will start to get that organized and make sure that we all stay connected in the way that we want to be, and so that we don't forget the parts of this community that keep us thriving. So that being said, where do we want to go next? We are going to keep moving on, and that's going to move us right into our community moment, which is this morning, Miss Autumn Weiniger. Like I said, Autumn has been a part of Oasis, Kansas City Oasis, I think since the very beginning, if not very, very early on. She's a current board member. And we usually ask our community moment speakers for, as a lot of you know, 3 words to describe themselves and a warning label. I'll give her warning label first. She said she loves growing plants, but her kill count is almost equal to that of her cat. I'm guessing in regards to plants, not humans or other things. And her 3 words to describe herself are crazy cat lady. 3 words. Please welcome Autumn Weiniger.
Hi. Yes, I have maybe a 50% success rate with growing plants. Most of the kills were earlier in my youth. I'm slightly better now, but my cats also help kill the plants. So I am going to talk about local food today, and I am going to figure out how to share this. Okay. Okay, can everybody see that? I guess I can't see you, so hopefully so. Can somebody unmute themselves and let me know if you see this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so the local food movement. Anyways, hold on real quick. Let me just, there we go. Okay, I wanted to give you proof that I'm a crazy cat lady. Here are my twin cats, Tiger and Lily. They're lovely. And then I also wanted to give you proof that I do have plants that are alive. So this is my little plant window at my house. Okay, now on to local food. What is local food? Generally, well, the distance parameter kind of varies depending on who is defining it. But I would say our regional food system is about 250-mile radius, and like very local is about 100 miles within Kansas City. It also kind of describes smaller or mid-sized farms, not giant conglomerate farms that you would see like in just like miles and miles of countryside farms. So most of them are still rural, but some of them are suburban and even urban farms that we have here in Kansas City. And then generally, local food is sold directly to the consumer, but it can be also sold by grocery stores, farmers markets, and stuff like that. And then also, sometimes it shows up in your restaurants as some of the ingredients they buy from local farmers. Why do I care about local food? So a couple years ago, I started working for Casey Healthy Kids as a contractor, and they are a local nonprofit organization, and they have a lot of programs and initiatives that help keep families and kids healthy through nutritious food, exercise, and lots of education programs and advocacy. And I started working on Split Log Farm, which is a really tiny urban farm in Kansas City, Kansas. And I had never really grown much of anything aside from plants that I killed before I started working there. But I learned how to grow fruits and vegetables, and those plants are not ones that I killed. I was actually pretty successful in helping grow food at the farm. And then I have recently been involved in a few grant projects through Casey Healthy Kids, but with a lot of other partners, nonprofits, and education, like state education, like extension. And one of them is Beginning Farmer Wholesale Project, and that is basically partnering beginning farmers with mentor farmers and helping them figure out how to grow their production from just a small amount to being able to sell to restaurants and other businesses, get their food in schools and stuff like that. And then the other one is Local Food Promotion Project, and that is basically trying to help with infrastructure to get food from local farms in more easily into the city where it can be consumed by people. And a lot of that is like supply chain stuff, transportation, logistics, all of that. So that is how I'm involved in the local food system. So most of this talk is about why should we eat local? Why should we care? Why should we do it? And it's because fresh food, fresh local food is can be more nutritious. It's better for the environment, and we're supporting the local economy. Okay, so when our food from like larger farms is harvested, often it is harvested when it is not fully ripe so that it can ripen during the transportation process and not be completely disgusting by the time it arrives in the grocery store. With local food, you don't have to go as far, and so it is often harvested when it's ripe. So your flavor on that food is going to be so much better. Also, faster delivery. So you're getting food that's like 1 or 2 days post-harvest sometimes, whereas it can be, even a week sometimes post-harvest, with possibly even more with larger farms that are going across the country. Or, some of our food is not from the US, a lot of it, and so it is traveling even more. And as far as fresh fruit and vegetables go, after you harvest it, it starts losing nutrients. And so vegetables can lose 15 to 55% of their vitamin C within a week. Some spinach can lose 90% of it within the first 24 hours after harvest. So when you're eating food closer to when it is harvested, you are getting more nutrients in your food. Now that doesn't, when food is frozen right after harvested, that stops the nutrient loss. So that doesn't, it's not a fair comparison when we're talking about frozen food. But for fresh food, you can get more nutrients in your food if you are eating local. Okay, it is better for the environment. So when our food's coming from I don't know, California. A lot of our food comes from California, right? So it's taking trucks from California and delivering it to the Midwest. And so there is, you know, carbon footprint from the driving, also for manufacturing. So the supplier to the farmer, manufacturer, and distributor and retailer, those can all kind of go away possibly when we're eating local. So we're talking farm direct to consumer or farm to grocery store to consumer. Um, and it's a much less wasteful, there's less product packaging, um, there's less transportation packaging for the food. So it creates a smaller carbon footprint. And then, okay, we're supporting the local economy. So we are buying from farmers who live in and around Kansas City when we are buying local food, and we are helping them sustain their livelihood. Being a small farmer is often it's really hard to actually end up being profitable, especially like larger profits. A lot of small farms fail. So by buying local, you're helping support local farmers. We also are supporting job creation when we're buying from local farmers. So there's a study that found that nearly 32 jobs are created for every $1 million in revenue generated by produce farms that are involved in direct to consumer selling, compared to only 10 and a half jobs for those involved in wholesale channels only. So that means more jobs are created by selling direct to consumer. And then also when farmers, they're smaller and more local, they're connected to the community. And so when they're buying their supplies, so we're talking seeds, farm equipment, packaging and stuff like that, a lot of them actually buy from local businesses. So they're keeping their money in the local economy. So it's boosting the local economy in a lot of different ways. So you can find local food at farmers markets. Once I end this, I'm going to kind of like ask for a raise of hands about like who has done this and who has bought through these. But so there's farmers markets. That's a lot of local farmers can, you know, come to one space, and it's often open air market, and you can purchase what you see. And then CSAs are community supported agriculture. That's like, think of like the, you know, subscription boxes for like once a month or whatever that you can get for lots of different things. That is, it's like that, but weekly from farms. And you can get like a really nice relationship with your farmer. You can get to know them a lot better. And often you can volunteer on their farm and like see how your food is actually grown. And then some grocery stores purchase food from local farms and sell it. And a lot of them will say which products are local. And then direct from farms, some farmers have websites that you can just order from them, or you can call them and pick up directly from the farm. And then there are quite a few restaurants here in Kansas City that sell food on their menu that it is made with local ingredients. So that is basically it for that. I probably don't have time for questions, but I would take questions later, or I'll probably make a Facebook post with some resources as far as like where can you find local food here in Kansas City. But could you just raise your hand real quick if you've bought local food that you know of? There's a lot of you, so that's awesome. Okay, so anyways, thank you very much, and that's about local food.
Yeah, thanks, Autumn. I know there's been a great push to be buying local and to be eating food that is grown closer to you to reduce that impact of all the things that you talked about. I think a big problem for a lot of people is just finding out how to get it and where to get it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you could help us find find out where some of those local farms are that we could have access to and where to get it. I know that would, I know I would love to know where I could access some of that stuff. I'd be willing to travel to get it and bring it back to some of you guys. Maybe the Oasis could get together and take a trip to one of these farms and bring back some local ingredients and share them amongst our community here or something like that. So yeah, if you want to put a post together on the private page, I know I've already got some questions. I'd love to hear more about working on a farm and some of your experiences there. That could be a whole separate community moment just about your experiences there. So thanks so much. That was great. And for the rest of you, like I said, we are always looking for community moments just like this. Community moments are just a talk just like this about your experience as a member of Kansas City Oasis and something, a part of your life, something that you do, an experience that you've had, and how it impacted you. We've had talks about people's favorite movies, people's experiences in school, what they do for work, their family history, all sorts of things. So anything that's a part of you, we want to hear about it because this is our community, and we want to be there for each other and remember why we're connected and what brings us together. So if you feel like you'd want to do that, over behind a computer screen tends to make people feel even more comfortable. So now would be a great time if you want to do it over Zoom. Get a hold of me or Mark or any other board member, and we'll get you signed up. That being said, that is our community moment for today. And we are going to head into our 10-minute break. We're going to get into our breakout rooms and give everybody a chance to get some coffee, maybe get a bagel together and have a little chat. And then we'll be back here in 10 minutes to get back together and hear more music from Miss Miki P. So everybody enjoy your breakout session, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes.
So just a friend went to stay in the main room, but if you decide to have a conversation, please keep, yeah, thank you.
All right. Welcome back, y'all. Everybody flooding back into the main room. Starting to see people.
You got about 30
back.
more seconds.
Oh yeah. Coming back a little bit at a time. How gorgeous is this morning? I don't know about you guys, but where I am, it's like, I don't know, 70 something degrees, like mid 70s, 75, exactly 75. No clouds in the sky. I'm going to be taking the dog for a nice long walk as soon as this is over. Steph, those headphones look legit. Are you a gamer? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe that. All right.
These are cheap ones, actually.
What's that?
These are cheap ones, actually.
Are they? Well, compared to my my wireless, supposedly sound isolating or noise canceling, whatever, that don't even do the job, headphones and actually bring no sound through. Those look pretty good. I sacrifice convenience for sound, with these things.
Yep.
Yep, I know.
You're
All
good
right.
to go, guy.
All right, we're ready to go. Let's do this thing. Let's keep moving on. Miki, you ready to take us back to Music Land? I don't know what that is. That's not a place, but we'll pretend it is.
No. Okay, I'm just gonna test my volume. Hey.
I was looking up some articles on Parasite.
Okay. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And it's funny because a lot of them,
we've got some. We need some more muting.
This really hot take that
Hey, yeah, volume is good. Okay, so so the next song I'm gonna play is called Rose Garden, and I wrote it about life, and it's kind of based off that whole quote of gotta stop and smell the roses, or you gotta stop and smell the flowers because life's happening, or whatever Ferris Bueller says, or whatever. And yeah, I wrote this song because life is short, but it's also long, and there's a lot in the middle. Weathered the bottom of my feet, worn down, going to conquer this. It's a battle day to day, a constant flow of rain, but it's got to storm now so the grass can grow green. Change may be hard to see, but it's an ebb and flow. Open your mind, let the universe tell you what it knows. Trying to find our open fields, keep a steady pace. The thorns hurt now, you'll miss the roses once you've won your race. Weathered, my mind is at capacity, blinded by distractions surrounding me. The truth is deceiving, but it's simple and plain. We have all the answers, yet the questions remain hidden in plain sight, right in front of your face. It gets easier once you can admit that you've lost your way. trying to find their open fields. Keep a steady pace, they're going to it now. You'll miss the roses once you've won your race. We're all walking on a rose garden, trying to find our open fields. Keep a steady pace, they're going to it now. You'll miss the roses once you've won your race. You'll miss the roses once you've won your race. You'll miss the roses.
Nice one, nice one. Thank you, Miki. Thank you. I can relate to that sentiment. I feel like I go back and forth about how sometimes I feel very much like life just drags and drags and drags, but also, oh, we're only here for like a very hot second in the length of and time of the universe. It's gone forever, but yeah, but sometimes I just need it to be over with already. So yeah, back and forth. That's a very appropriate song. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get on to our featured speaker this morning, a face that many of you will be familiar with. Jude Lane is here to talk about phonology, accents, and dialects. Jude's been a longtime member of Oasis. Like I said, done some extensive personal traveling, studied Spanish and English, obviously in different contexts at university, and is going to be sharing some of his insights today with regards to language. Jude, please take it away, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Getting this PowerPoint. All right, so my name is Jude. Today, we're going to be talking about phonology, accents, and dialects, get into a little bit of the academics of it, and then also just my personal experience with what I've gotten to do and how I've gotten to use it in real life. So my connection to this, why this is something that I find really cool. In university, I studied Spanish, and then my minor was teaching English as a second language. I originally planned on teaching English in other countries, ended up doing other things, but my passion for language and communicating with people was always there. And it definitely helped me understand what we are doing with language and get some really deep appreciation for what it takes to learn a language, even as a kid growing up, a baby trying to learn a language. What are they learning? What are we actually teaching kids? And how do we come up with the sounds that we do? Some other ways that this connects to me. My family is from Southern Arkansas, and they have very strong, beautiful Southern Arkansas accents. And it is my personal favorite accent on the planet. A little bit of bias there, but also I'm going to play some today, and I think you'll agree that it is among some of the more beautiful ways that we speak the English language in the United States. Somewhere else that I got to speak a lot of English actually was when I was living in Ghana, West Africa. I was there for a year in the northern region working with Foundation Beyond Belief, doing some human rights work up there. But while I was there, I got to learn a local language called Dagbanli, but we also used English throughout the whole country. The country does not speak the same language everywhere, but English has kind of taken over because of colonialism, but it's kind of taken over as the shared language between all the different language and tribe groups between the different people. And so English became a really good way. Learning Ghanaian English was a really good way for me to be able to talk to everyone in the country when I was traveling. It really helped me communicate, get things I needed, connect with people, and everything that comes with that. All right. Oh, and as you can tell, I don't have that strong Southern Arkansas accent. If you're wondering, that is because I lived in Northwest Arkansas most of my life and my accent left me. But if I go home, it comes right back and it gets thick really fast. So it's still there, and I'll actually get into how we do that, how we have accents that we use in different places at different times. So we're going to go today through some language mapping, a couple different kinds of language mapping that you can do. We're going to talk about the theory and the concepts surrounding phonology. And then we're going to get into some specific accents and dialects to kind of see how this works in the real world. All right, so first off, let's just talk about the differences between a language, a dialect, and an accent. You may think that these stay really separate, and we're able to define what a language is, a dialect is, an accent is, but because it is an evolving piece of human culture, these things blur a lot, and sometimes it's really hard to tell when something is a whole new language or when it's just a dialect of a different language. Often many accents can come off of the same accent or many dialects off of a single dialect. And what we're really doing is isolating groups of people, and this isolation creates some cultural pressures to want to be like those around you. And when you want to be like those around you, one of the ways you do that is obviously through the way you speak. And so these dialects and everything evolve because that happens along with the mixing of other cultures when countries are next to each other, or when large groups of immigration happen. Those things start to influence the native language there and start to create more dialects and accents, and sometimes even their whole own language if they get enough isolation from other groups for a long enough period of time. So to narrow this down to something that we all connect to, here is a map of different English dialects within the United States. We understand there to be about 25 of them. If you look at the map, you can kind of figure out where maybe Kansas City falls. It looks like we're about where the North Midland and the South Midland kind of meet, right around there. So we're going to probably have influences of both. But you see that there's a lot of differences on the East Coast just because there's been more people there. And then as you go west, people are spread out a little bit more. So the English dialects and accents kind of, they don't separate to the same degree. Within this, I think it's just really cool. I don't even know what gula is. Maybe some of you guys would be able to say know someone who speaks like that. But you see that along with what we understand as the big ones, where you have the North and the South, the East Coast and the West Coast, it really gets more detailed than that. There's a lot of different things happening and a lot of different reasons why our language moves the way it does. And another thing that comes into this is what we call standard American dialects, which ends up being a little bit different than any actual accent, because it's so that everyone can understand you. When you think of maybe what a standard American dialect is, it's what a news anchor tries to be, right? So they don't really ever sound like they're from anywhere in particular. It's just enunciated clearly and more in the middle grounds. They don't go to any extremes as far as where they take pronunciations and stuff, so that more people understand them, and so that they're able to spread whatever they're trying to say to group and be identified within that. Like I was saying with the accents, an accent ends up telling you a lot about someone, right? Whether you mean to or not, when you hear someone speaking from New England, from New York, you have certain stereotypes that come with that. When you hear someone from the South, there's certain things that you will maybe assume that person is. And so the accents play a major role in your self-identity, who you are, who you connect to, and how you relate that to other people. When you hear their accent, you're able to learn something about them that can often tell you a lot about who they are, and help understand someone better without them having to say anything. And we can usually pick up an accent that someone has within milliseconds. If they're speaking English, they don't even have to say a whole word. We can understand that they are at least different from us within a very, very short amount of time. And our ears are just trained to catch those cultural differences. We care about our tribe, and one of our parts of that is our accent, and the part that I think is really cool. All right, so now we are going to get into the phonology aspect of this. First off, I'm going to say what I'm talking about. Phonology is not phenology, which is the study of plants and animals and their life cycles. These words come to mind whenever I say phonology. You can hear my accent. There's really not a big difference between phonology and phonology, about the same. But they, not the same thing, just to make sure we don't get these confused. The other one to not confuse it with, it's not phrenology, which is the really bad science of how our brains, our skull shapes affect our mental abilities and everything. So not what we're talking about today. It is also not phonetics. It's connected, and that might be a term that you are more familiar with, but phonetics is really about, it's more the description of actually like what we're hearing, what's happening, without getting into the culture and the language side of it. We're not talking about what is being communicated as much as how are our ears and our mouths working, and more on that side, whereas phonology is theoretical. It's about how we put certain sounds together, and the rules that come with that are often, it's not an A always makes this sound or a B always makes this sound. What you're often doing is saying, well, when a B is matched with this letter, it does something different. When you put an A at the beginning, middle, or end of a word, it's going to make a different sound based on your accent and based on where you're putting it in the word. So we end up having a lot of different little rules that we really don't think about on a daily basis. These are all very subconscious, but you have all these little rules, and hopefully today we get to have an appreciation for the fact that you may not have realized it, but what you thought was one sound might be up to 3 different sounds that you're actually making. You think it's all the same thing, and it's not. You're doing different things with your mouth, and you're actually following different rules than you would with that same similar sound in a different situation. Okay, so here I'm going to encourage everybody who is listening. No one is going to be watching you unless someone's like sneaking up on the other screens or something. But what I really want to do is have everyone kind of practice their phonology with me. We're going to go through some different things that your mouth is doing, where in the mouth they are happening, how your mouth moves when you do it. And when you guys are doing it, I encourage you to even maybe close your eyes and watch or feel within what your mouth is actually doing. Where is your tongue? Where are your teeth? How does your mouth move as you say something? And we're going to practice some different sounds that you make within the English language. So the first one is called the bilabial. Fairly easy to understand, to remember. This one is 2 lips. So these are sounds like B's and P's. If you practice those sounds and you go buh, buh, your mouth has to touch your bottom and top lips every time. Buh and puh, puh. The only way you make those sounds is to use both of your lips. And then you have labial dental, which means the lips and the teeth are working together. So if you make a V sound, V, V, you can feel your bottom and your top lip pushing down against your teeth in order to make that sound come out. You do the same thing when you make an F sound. F, f. Your bottom lip has to push down on your teeth for that to come out. F. All right. Interdental means between the teeth. So in the example we have here, it's the TH sound, and you put your tongue between your teeth to make that sound. And you can tell your mouth in other ways is maybe doing something similar to your F's and your V's. Your air, that pressure that you're pushing through is really similar. That part's really, really similar, but what your tongue is doing changes completely the sound that you are making and what that sound's significance is in the English language. Then you have alveolar, and this is the ridge in your mouth. If you feel with your tongue, you have right behind your teeth a little ridge before it goes into the palate of your mouth. This ridge is something you use for specific sounds. So if we make a t sound, our tongue pushes up against that part of the ridge of your mouth. T, duh, duh. Your mouth has to use that tongue. You have to hold your mouth a certain way, but your tongue is doing the same thing for each of those sounds. T, duh. But then you use other parts of your throat and your mouth to turn it into different things. So you have t, t, duh, duh. Then you have s, s. You can tell with that one while you're practicing. Maybe you can feel it, but your tongue is doing a very similar thing, but it actually pushes up against the back of your teeth a little bit when it does it. So it's still on the ridge, but even then it has to make a slight adjustment to make a different sound. So between a t and a s, at least for me, my tongue pushes a little bit more against the back of my top teeth. And then you have z, which is the same thing. My tongue has to push a little bit more against the back of my teeth. Sits a little bit farther to the front of my mouth than I do with T's and D's. But essentially, you're doing the same thing with your tongue inside your mouth, and then the rest of your mouth adjusts to make all four of those sounds while the tongue does more or less the same thing. Then you have alveopalatal. So this would be the hard palate right behind the ridge of your mouth. You have the very front of your palate, so towards the front of your face. Right behind that ridge, your palate is a little harder. If you move your tongue, you can tell that it kind of softens up as you go back. And we use that part for different sounds, but that hard part we use for examples here. We use that for our sh, sh, and our ch, ch sounds, SH and CH. You're going sh, your tongue pushes up and it kind of curves into that roof of your mouth. It curves into the natural curve of your mouth so that the sound can come out from underneath. So you have sh, sh, ch, ch. All right. The next one we have is palatal. And this is just the mid palate. This is right in the middle. Your tongue, like I was saying, it kind of curves, but now it's going to curve and then move a little farther back into your throat or into the top of your mouth to make this other sound. So instead of shh, you go yeah, yeah. And you can tell instead of the front of your tongue hitting the kind of front of your ridge or the back of your ridge, the middle of your tongue is pushing up almost right in the middle of where you'd say your palate is. So you're going yeah, yeah. For me, my tongue also widens out a little bit. So my teeth have to open. And my tongue actually takes up more room this way as well, as so it just kind of spans out and covers the roof of my mouth all around so that that yeah sound can come out. Yeah, yeah. All right. I hope you guys are having fun. This is really fun for me. So I hope you guys are enjoying seeing where all this goes. Couple more. We have the velar, which comes from the velum part of your mouth. So this is basically just the back palate. And this, you still use your tongue a little bit, but this starts getting into the throat a little bit more. You can tell you kind of tighten up here sometimes for certain sounds. So it's all of this pushing up as well. And that would be for sounds like k, k, and j, or sorry, g, g, and k, k, g, g. So it's just a little different. Your tongue had to move a little bit farther back. It had to maybe, for me, it doesn't touch the roof of my mouth anymore. It moves down and back. and still stays wide, but a lot of this sound starts to come from back here and less from here in my mouth. And then the final place, in this map at least, of sound that you create for English is your glottal sounds. So this is coming from way down here. This is more, it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain for me how it feels, especially with H's. I really just feel like I'm just kind of letting the air go, like I'm actually kind of holding it in my chest, and it's just me constraining the air a little bit in my throat, but it's not doing much else. The rest of my mouth isn't doing much else. It's just letting the sound come out. You're just going, you can move your tongue around and it doesn't change a whole lot of the sound. What's changing is how you're putting that pressure in here. And when you start matching that with other words, the tongue can get involved, but the pure H sound is coming just from down here. It's what you're using mostly. All right, so what we were just talking about with the English sounds is how the mouth is shaped for those sounds. So we're talking about where the tongue, teeth, cheeks, lips, and throat kind of try to stand during these sounds. A second aspect of phonology is how you're controlling the air as it comes out. So we are not just moving the air in different ways in here, but part of our pronunciation comes from how we control the pressure of the air as it comes through. So what we call stops, it's pretty literal, and stop is actually a good example of it. So when you make that p sound at the end of stop, you constrict the air. You say the word and you immediately constrict the air at the end of the word. You go stop. You don't go stop, right? You go stop. The air stops in your mouth. Do the same thing when you say the word talk. It's talk. You cut it off right there. So those are called stops. And then we have what are called fricatives. And these, the easiest way to explain this is just it's the constraint that you put, the way that you restrict the air as it comes through. So when we practice this one, try to pay attention to what your cheeks do in order to do this. I feel, for me, I feel this a lot in my cheeks, kind of the sides of my lips, not the front as much, except for certain words. But I start to feel this a lot right here. This is where I'm constricting the air before it comes out. Like when you whistle, you have to restrict that air to make that sound. You do the same thing with certain words and letters that you're pronouncing. So you have a, you can tell your lips kind of push in, and you're probably using the same amount of pressure you would for a sound like an H, but when you do this with the same amount of pressure, it restricts it and it gives it a almost like a vibration to it, right? You can feel it a little bit when you go shh. You start to kind of feel that in the sides of your mouth. One that I think is really easy to remember and pay attention to more than some of these other ones, or at least I enjoy how it works in language a lot, is your voiced and voiceless sounds. And one of my favorite things I think about voiced and voiceless is that we'll practice some and see if you guys like it as much as I do. So with an S sound and a Z sound, your mouth does the exact same thing. A S and a Z, mouth, lips, everything for most people sits in the exact same place. The only difference is what we call voiced. And it means that you vibrate your vocal cords. So you feel this down in your throat while your mouth is doing the same thing. So an S would be voiceless. It goes S, but you put your mouth in the exact same place and you make a Z sound and you feel it down here. It goes Z, Z, Z. You're starting to make sounds down here in the back of your throat that send a vibration through the sound that turns it into a kazoo. You're changing that sound a little bit, and from those vibrations, we have created in English 2 different letters, along with many, many other sounds that use that, voiced and voiceless, fricatives and stops. Those are things that we'll see they all mix with the mouth holding to create all the different sounds we have. One good thing to note for English is that all vowel sounds are voiced. A, E, I, O, U, A, I, E, O, U. No matter what you're doing, you are using this back part of your throat and sending a vibration through the sounds. And in English, at least, all of our vowels work like that. I think, don't quote me here, but I think in theoretical phonology stuff, that's really what we call vowels, period. Vowels only have that voice noise. The way that we use our mouth with vowels, kind of, no matter the language, there's that element to commonality to all of them. So the next part of this, of how you speak different sounds, is when you go nasal. So for the M and match, if you feel it a little bit, you go you start to feel that same kind of vibrating thing we're doing with the vocal cords, but I feel it up in my sinuses a little bit. I feel it in my nose. I feel that sound it's still coming out of the mouth, but you can tell that some of that sound comes out of the nose, and you're at least using this part of your face differently than you do for most other sounds. Sing is the same thing. At the end of sing, go sing. For me, my tongue goes up, and I start to really feel that in my nose and in my sinuses. Sing, sing. Feel it up here. And last for this list is a flap. So this is when it's not really one sound, it's not really the other. We kind of go with an in-between. And some good examples of that are like butter or ladder. Most people, at least in American English, this is actually kind of an American English unique thing. We do this a lot. We don't say butter or ladder. We mix those two sounds and kind of create a hybrid that's called a flap. So you say butter or ladder. And we've created that double T and that double D and made them basically the exact same thing, at least for most speakers. I also want to mention here that this gets a lot more detailed. If you want to get into a lot more of these different labels that we put on different sounds, what maybe other languages have as sounds, there is a lot out there. This is limited to just English and just kind of getting an outline of how our mouths work for most common things we say. Okay, so this is a phonology chart. As we were talking, you can see that the first list of things I was talking about, the bilabial through the glottal, those are from right to left along the top. And then you have the other things we're talking about with stop, fricatives, nasals, all along the side. And then within each one of those different categories on the left side, within each one of those, you have a voiced and an unvoiced sound. I think that's another thing I like about it, that it kind of becomes a part of everything. If you have a voiced and a voiceless, you're making two different letters, two different sounds just by doing that. So it's like no matter what's happening, you get to kind of throw those in there. You can always have this distinction based just on whether or not you are voicing it or you're not. Most of these letters are pretty easy to follow. It's just a regular P and B, T and D, K and G. That symbol at the top right, that is a version of a T sound, and that T is different than the one that we just saw in the middle. The T in the middle is more like in the word to, and then the T at the end is like in the word mat. And if you spend some time just practicing between those two, go between those two words, say to, mats, to, mats. You are still making a T sound, but those are different. Those are two different sounds that you're really making. And the distinction there you wouldn't catch unless you were sitting here messing with it. It's something we do very naturally. We don't think about it. I'll skip down. F and V, same sound. One is voiced and one is voiceless. So as we're talking about, F and V. Right next to that, you have what is a TH sound. The top one is a TH sound for words like this. The thing that looks like a theta is like this, and then, or with. It's more like a with. You can tell it's voiceless. There's nothing behind it. With. And then the one right below it, it looks like a backward 6 kind of. That one is like that. So you've put more throat into it and turned it into a voice sound. So you have with and that. And then you have S's and Z's, as we talked about earlier. Some other fun sounds connected to that are the top one right next to the S is like our SH sound. Sh, that's the symbol for it. The one underneath that is like our J sound, like genre or seizure. It's a little different, but it gets to kind of, it's right next to that S and Z sounds that we're making, right in the same area. Underneath that, the thing that's the T with a S looking symbol, that is our CH sound. That's the symbol for just ch sounds. And the one below that is our sounds like, our J sounds like joy or edge. That's our J sounds like that. You can tell there too, like their voice. Those are, it's edge. You don't really think about DG being a J sound, but to a certain degree, you're making the same sound as you would at the beginning of the word joy. All right. So for me, this is where it really starts getting fun because we start to hear real examples of people around the world speaking English and how it connects to their own culture. One thing I'll ask you guys here, when you are listening to this man speak, it's a very strong Irish accent. Think about, in your opinion, one, can you understand him? How much can you understand? But two, is this an accent difference? Or do you feel like it kind of starts turning into a dialect difference? And why do you decide that? Why is this one? Why is it the other? Let's see where it goes.
Hey, Jude.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. Oh, sorry, Guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all right, Jude. I was just going to say, Jude, I'm going to give you like 3 more minutes. And then
I didn't realize I'd gone that long. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll do this.
Right.
I have to get to the other stuff, so we'll do this really fast.
Okay, we'll just real fast, give you 3 more minutes, and then Miki, you'll be up for play your last song, all right?
Okay, thanks.
All right, however you want to finish.
Okay.
Last Saturday, Mikey Joe O'Shea brought his flock of Scotch sheep down from the mountain's commonage ahead of lambing. He discovered over 50 were missing, allowing for a number of deaths and strays. Mikey is convinced over 45 sheep have been stolen.
Pues about night, there'd be a full moon there about night, and since it'd be bright out, and there could anyone go up in the mountains about night, sure. Well, there was 55 sheep missing, like, and the lambs and everything, and the sheep just count out the nice bit of money, like.
All right, so we're gonna have to speed through, but spend some time. You can look up that video. Do you think that's voiced or voiceless? So now this is the important part. Sorry, I'm having to push it a little bit. This is my family. This is my family's Southern accent. They are 3rd and 4th generation from the exact same town. So this is a very strong, very unique accent, and it is it's not influenced by anything else. This is where they're from. This is their accent. So this is my grandma speaking from something called the Speech Accent Archive, which I may not have time to get into.
Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, maybe a snack for her brother Bob. We also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. She can scoop these things into 3 red bags, and we will go meet her Wednesday at the train station.
All right, these are the ways the language is different. Can't get into it right now. This is my Uncle Timmy doing the same thing.
Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, cheese, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, maybe a snack for Brother Bob. We also did small plastic steak, big toy frog for the kids. She scooped these things into 3 red bags, and we'll go meet her Wednesday at the train station.
All right. Didn't get to get into it much at all, but I got to do the same stuff in Ghana, like I was talking about earlier. Just one quick story. The way that this works and how it is helpful. One, I got to learn some Pidgin English, which is an African dialect of English that is used in many different countries to help them connect to each other. So picking up parts of that, picking up parts of Ghanaian accents in these different ways and different Ghanaian words. I was able to speak there. I did some code switching, which is basically changing your dialect to match somebody, not just your accent. Biggest story about getting to do this, I was with a buddy getting onto a taxi. The taxi driver did not understand my friend at all. He was trying to use a southern Alabama accent. The guy could not understand him. I used this in one sentence. The guy goes, "Oh, okay," and he understood me immediately. And it was just a matter of me changing my accent, still speaking English, and he was far more able to understand me, and I connected with him in his own culture. This is the Speech Accent Archive. The paragraph that my family was speaking is a very specific paragraph used for this process. This is part of a specific academic study. You can go out to this website and view all kinds of accents of English. Every language you can think of, it's in there. And it's really beautiful to go through and listen. And they get into a lot more detail about what we talked about today. All right, we'll have to skip that today. And I'll just leave you with these questions.
All right. Thank you, Jude. That was obviously a very complicated, deep, heavy, long-ranging topic that, has a lot of people working on it all the time. I had no idea that you had all of that information in your head. That's crazy, man. I want to know so much more. I was fascinated by all that dialect. Sorry. Oh, somebody else talked. There's a lot of information there. I love this type of information. My parents, my family, and I talk about dialects and code switching all the time. I know for sure that the way that people's accents and all that kind of stuff has a lot of, it changes the way that we view people. And we have a lot of biases against different dialects and accents and stuff in this country, especially coming from the Midwest. We think, hey, we're standard issue, Americans, because we're from the Midwest and we don't have an accent, right? There's so much wrapped up in that and how we view ourselves, and we're like, there's a lot there, man. I would love to hear more. If you're interested in taking some more questions, if you want to get on the private page, I'm sure that more people would love to ask you some more questions. So we're going to keep moving on. And if you want to talk some more about this later at another time, it sounds like you've got some more to share with us. So thanks again for coming this morning. And let's keep this thing moving. Miki, are you ready to play another song for us? All right. We're going to bring Miki back up. Jude, thanks again. Thank you, everybody. Let's give Jude a round of applause, everybody. Thank you. All right. We love you so much, Jude. All right. We're going to bring Miki back up, and then I'll have a few more words before we sign off for today.
Okay, so I lied, and I'm gonna play a new song that's not on the album that I just released, but I did just release an album, so you should go check that out. I don't know if you use streaming services, but my album is out everywhere that there is music online. But this is a song that I wrote about a bird. Blackbird with a saddle on its back. Where are you going with that? You know you can go anywhere you want. Why are you in my backyard? I can see it's hard to tell. You got a family that you're raising, and they're putting you through hell. Well, go be on your way. I'm sure our paths will cross again someday. Someday. night is an awfully quiet thing, but who is they and what are we? If a bird can carry passengers, please take me. I can see all the roads aren't as clear as they used to be, where it splits the fork in the road is a cave darker than that we've ever known, we'll ever know.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you,
Thank
Miki.
y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. All right. If you guys enjoyed Miki's music this morning, you can check out her Facebook page or her Bandcamp page. All that information is in the chat over there to the side. Please scroll through there. You can find her Venmo and just drop some cash right down there. If you appreciate her as an artist and a musician, it's got a new album, Right Where We Are. A lot of these songs, 3/4 of these songs are on the new album. So check out that new music. Thank you so much for being here on short notice. We can't wait to have you back in the future. Autumn, thank you for being here as our community moment. Again, if anybody else is interested in being a community moment speaker, we want to hear from all of you. And check out the private page for some more information on local farms and farmers markets around the Kansas City metro. I know there's going to be plenty of interest in that amongst this group. And Jude, of course, we love you. And I know there's a lot of interest in what you were talking about this morning. So if you have some time to stick around and maybe answer some more questions after we finish up here, that'd be great. And if you have some more information you want to drop on the private page about what you shared today, that would be awesome too. For those of you who don't know, Kansas City Oasis is a 501c3 organization. We run by volunteers and donations. So if you have anything that you can share with us, that you can spare, head to kcoasis.org/donate. Give what you can if you're able, and that's what we have for this week. We love you guys. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other because you deserve it. We love you. We'll see you next week.